Trump.
Mr. President, thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Last week you were in New York for this arraignment. The world watched it. You've not given an interview since. You were there, I think, 57 minutes. Tell us from your perspective what that was like.
Well, it was a horrible thing because I did nothing wrong. Absolutely nothing wrong. You look at even the pundits and the legal analysis, Greg Jarrett, all of these really talented people, they're saying he didn't do anything wrong. So that's number one. Number two, they were incredible. When I went to the courthouse, which is also a prison in a sense, they signed me in.
Wow. My man has been reading Foucault. Okay. The courthouse, it's like a prison. Many people say the school is like a prison, but you know what's the real prison? Prison.
And I'll tell you, people were crying. People that work there, professionally work there, that have no problems putting in murderers, and they see everybody. It's tough, tough place. And they were crying. They were actually crying. They said, I'm sorry. They'd say, 2024, sir, 2024. And tears are pouring down their eyes. I've never seen anything like that. Those people are phenomenal. Those are your police.
Yep.
Those are the people that work at the courthouse. They're unbelievable people. Many of them were in tears or close to it. Many apologists were sorry, sir. We're sorry. They had to have me do certain things. They said, sir, I can't believe I have to ask you. I can't even believe that I have to ask you to do it. You could see. So in one sense, it was beautiful because they get it. In another sense, you know, it's nasty. I went to the Wharton School of Finance. They didn't teach me about that. That wasn't like in the cards.
About the arraignment part?
That wasn't. We didn't have a class on arraignment. And, you know, it was.
He's so back. Ron DeSantis doesn't have like a fucking fraction, an ounce of the charisma that he demonstrates in this interview. Okay? He's literally bullying someone who he knows in private has talked shit about him, while simultaneously having a lot of fucking clippable moments. He's back. I wonder if Trump knows Tucker shit talked him. Are you kidding me, dude? Come on, come on. Of course he knows, dude. He's the most narcissistic, thin-skinned motherfucker on the planet. Of course he knows.
It's a sad day in many ways, and in many ways it was a beautiful day because the people understand. I didn't know this was happening.
I'm about to get a platform ban for showing you cuckold porn. Okay? This is literally Big Blonde Bull. Fucks the cuckold on camera. Okay? This is like Tucker Carlson. You know what? Remember when I said, I wonder what could be more humiliating for Sneeko now that he got like eviscerated by Charlie on the timeline? This is it. If Sneeko somehow successfully launched a right-wing grift for himself, got to like an incredibly prominent position, became one of the most powerful pundits in the country, okay, and then got cucked on national television like this, I would say that would probably be the only rope that he could shoot that's even fucking going to be more embarrassing, more humiliating than the one that Moist Critical gave him.
But the poll numbers have gone through the roof. The people get it. And the other ones are hoaxes also. You know, the box hoax. Look at Biden. He's got 1,850 boxes. And, you know, that's a hoax. And then the one in Atlanta where I had a perfect phone call. This is all weaponization. They're weaponizing our justice system, Tucker. And they think if they go and give you a subpoena, you know, I guess I'm very well known and people understand it and they get it. And maybe I have a bigger platform so I can explain it. But if you're somebody, a Republican, let's say, running for office, and you get a subpoena, you might as well resign because you're not going to be able to survive it. And the voters aren't going to handle it. The voters aren't going to take it. What they're doing is weaponizing the system, and there's never been anything like it. And it's all disinformation. You see, the other day, Afghanistan, one of the worst things I've ever seen. I think the most embarrassing moment that this country's ever had, frankly, the way we got out. Not the getting out. We had to get out. It was ridiculous to be there. And I had that so good, so tight, so tough. I spoke to the leader, Abdul. I said, Abdul, if you do anything, you're going to get hit really hard. Literally, he said, but sir, why? Why? He goes, why, oh, why do you send me a picture of my house? I said, you'll have to figure that one out, Abdul. But we didn't have one death in 18 months. He knew, not one death. And then to see the way we got out, like we were surrendering, like taking the military out first, leaving $85 billion worth of equipment behind, giving up Bagram. I was going to keep Bagram. I was getting out, but not for Afghanistan. It's 1 hour away from where China makes its nuclear weapons. It's one of the biggest Air Force bases in the world, I think the biggest, with runways that go 10,000 feet. I was keeping that because of China, not because of Afghanistan.
Right.
And they left everything. They left in the dark of night. They left the lights on. They left the dogs, by the way. You know, the people say about the dogs. They left the dogs. Everyone, you know, the dog lovers, and you got a lot of them. I love dogs. You love dogs. But they left the dogs. People said, what? One of the first questions I got, what did they do with the dogs? Mostly German Shepherds. They left them. What they did, the way they got out, was so horrible. Okay, everybody knows that was their plan. That had nothing to do with me. I was getting out, too. We would have gotten out with strength and dignity. And what happened? They got out. And the other day I hear, yeah.
I love the Abdul. I sent him a photo of his house. That's like, I mean, that's another great one. Straight up. I'll admit it. That's a great one. Like, he's just saying he, like, threatened. He's saying he fucking threatened the fucking leader of the Taliban.
Shepherds. People said, what lovers? And you got a lot of them. I love dogs. You love dogs. But they left the dogs. People said, what? One of the first questions I got, what did they do with the dogs? Mostly German Shepherds. They left them. What they did, the way they got out, was so horrible. Okay, everybody knows that was their plan. That had nothing to do with me. I was getting out, too. We would have gotten out with strength and dignity. And what happened? They got out. And the other day I hear, yeah, it was Trump's fault. Oh, that's right. It was Trump. I was gone for a long. I would have been out faster than them. We would have had all the equipment. We would have had the American citizens. We left hostages. We left Americans behind. Many, I think many more than you think. And we had 13 soldiers killed. And nobody ever mentions the fact that we had many maimed so badly. No arms, no legs. Their face was obliterated. This is the way this guy got out. We would have gotten out with dignity and strength. We were going to. But I was taking 100% of, I said, I want every nail. I want every screw. I want the tents. They said, sir, the tents are very hard to take out. I said, I want the tents. I want the tanks. I want the planes. I want everything. And a couple of them fought me on it. Like me.
I said, I don't care. I want the tents. That's so awesome.
He said, sir, I think it's cheaper to leave the equipment behind. I said, let me ask you, we have a plane that cost $100 million. It's sitting there. All it needs is a tank of gas, right? Give me a little jet fuel. We'll fly it to Pakistan or any place else, or we'll fly it directly home. You say it's cheaper to leave a $100 million plane? Sir, I think overall it's cheaper. These are idiots we're dealing with. They left $85 billion worth of equipment. They left our American citizens behind. And they moved the military out first. No, you move the military out last. I did a little skit with a 5-year-old kid. I said, let me ask you, here's the situation. I explained the situation. I said, would you take the military out first, or would you take it out last? I take it out last, 5-year-old. But they took the military out first, and they were afraid of our military. When I was there, they were afraid. We didn't have one soldier killed in 18 months. Not one soldier was killed in 18 months. And then we got out like we surrendered. I think it was the single most embarrassing day in the history of our country. It was totally their fault. They didn't go by anything because, you know, we had a system of getting out. But if the Taliban, in particular, the Taliban, because that's where the action was, right? When I called Abdul, the press went crazy. The fake news went crazy. Why did he call an enemy? I said, well, it's Jesse James. I used to ask him, why did he rob banks? He said, that's where the money is. Why did I call the head of the Taliban? Because that's where the killing was. And he's there now, Abdul. I'm sure he likes me. He called me Your Excellency. I don't know if he calls Biden Your Excellency.
Fuck. Bro, only Trump can get away with saying that the leader of the fucking Taliban loves me. And then everyone will look at that and go, oh, hell yeah, brother. Like, I love that. You're so right. That's a good thing. I love that. The Taliban, they love me. I serve him top of the hour ad breaks. Everybody says, please, sir. I'm subscribed. No worries, believe me. At the top of the hour, there's a 3-minute ad break. If you no longer want to see those ads, all you need to do is subscribe. For $5 or for free, I say. The Taliban says, sir, I'm already subscribed. But I'll gift some subscriptions so that others can avoid the ad breaks as well. Here's the 3-minute ad break now, believe me.
Probably. I mean, you know, they're one of the largest arms dealers now in the world. They're selling the $85 billion worth of it because they only need 5% of it.
Of course.
They're selling the equipment. They're one of the largest, I think, second arms dealers. Brand new helicopters, brand new airplanes, brand new tanks.
The funniest part, first of all, that's not true, but no, he's not wrong. They are a pretty fucking, no, they're a pretty massive arms dealer now. Or not an arms dealer, but like they do have a lot of fucking weapons and they do have a lot of like used Humvees and shit like that. I think they have like a pretty massive, pretty sizable fleet now. You want to know why? Because we're the largest arms dealer and we brought them there. The point is, America is so powerful and so large of an arms dealer that it literally doesn't matter. Our trash being left behind makes that country immediately become like not the second, but like a competitive fucking arms dealer. Our trash and alone is enough for nations to be like, we have one of the most powerful fleets of armored personnel carriers on the planet now.
Unbelievable what we left behind. We ran, and there was no reason to. I had them, I could have stayed there for 5 years if I wanted to. I wanted out. 21 years was enough. I wanted out. We shouldn't have been there in the first place. But when I see what happens, when I see the level of stupidity, and because of that, it's all a big web. Because of that, I think Putin, who would have never gone into Ukraine when I was there, would have never, I talked to him about it often, would have never, ever done that when he saw that.
Wait, what? Did he just say he talks to Putin often about invading Ukraine? What the fuck?
I wasn't there, and he saw these fools, these stupid people. And think of that, the way they left Afghanistan, and nobody was fired. I fired a lot of people because if they didn't do a good job, I'd fire them.
May I ask, you talked to Putin about Ukraine. What did you say to him?
I could see that he loved it. And I said...
he loved Ukraine.
He considers it to be a part of Russia.
Yeah.
I said, not when I'm president. We had a very good relationship. I mean, look, I was the worst thing that ever happened to him.
Dude. I too often level cities into the fucking ground when I love it a lot. You know what I mean? Like, I am by no means a NatSec Ukrainian flag in the bio liberal, right? As you all know, I am funded by Vladimir Putin himself directly. I am his most loyal soldier. But holy fuck, dude, that is a wild, absolutely wild take. Yeah, Putin loved it. He loved Ukraine. He wanted to liberate it. He literally just admitted to telling Putin to wait to invade until he was no longer president. This guy's insane. No, first of all, none of those things happened, chatter. Hello, he's lying. It's just funny that he's lying in that direction, which you're right. That is the implication of what he's basically saying, which is weird because, like, he's lying. He could have said anything, but he chose to say that. That's what you need to remember. Like, that, it's like very odd. If you're going to lie, just lie about anything else. He's just like, no, Putin, he said he loved Ukraine. I told him, don't invade yet. No, no, no. Believe me, I will stop you.
I closed up his pipeline. You never heard the words Nord Stream 2 until I came along. Nord Stream 2 is their pipeline. And I had a great relationship with him, but it was very tough because they had a fake Russia investigation. And I told him, and he told me.
This part is true. He did stop Nord Stream 2.
He said, it's very hard for us to deal, don't you think? I said, very hard, because we have a fake investigation that turned out to be a fake. For 2 years it went on. And we could have done very well with Russia. They have great minerals. They have great things that we want, we could have, and they need the money and they need other things. But that interfered. That was a terrible thing. That was actually a treasonous thing to do. Those people should have been arrested. They made it up. They made up a problem with Russia that didn't exist. Now they've all admitted it didn't exist. It was just on to the next one. I often say, they said to me the other day, one of your fellow journalists said, who's the biggest problem, sir? Is it China? Could it be Russia? Could it be North Korea? No, I said, the biggest problem is from within. It's these sick, radical people.
Ooh, that's a good line.
Because we can handle if we're smart.
God damn, that's such a good line, dude. I mean, I say that about the Republican Party, like, and so does Noam Chomsky, to be fair. It's a bit of a plagiarization from Noam Chomsky, but, like, yeah, the Republican Party is the greatest fucking, the greatest burden for American prosperity. They have done unimaginable harm to the United States of America. They've done unimaginable harm globally as a force of terror, but especially when it comes to domestic issues, like the Republican Party is, like Osama bin Laden will never amount. Like his toll will be nothing in comparison to the Republican Party's advocacy towards American evisceration. Okay, like straight up. But couldn't you almost say the same thing about DNC? Yes, I can, and I will. The fuck are you saying? Osama bin Laden did 9/11. Let's not even talk about who funded him, who backed him originally, what those motivations were, who allowed him to fucking operate in the region for as long as he did. Let's forget all of that, right? Okay? What we did after 9/11 was more damaging to American existence. If the American government literally said, you know what, we're not going to do shit, okay? You know, the past is in the past. Who gives a fuck? Obviously, that would be insane. I'm not even advocating for that. But if they had said that instead of do a $6, $7, $8 trillion war on terror that only made the world less safe as a consequence of the destabilization in the Middle East, while actively fighting the very same people that we had armed, that we still arm to this fucking day, the world globally would be a better place. Literally, America would be a better place. America would be a more safe place. Why forget about such things? Are you scared? What? Did you just not hear? Do you not have the mental fortitude to understand the argument that I'm making? What America did to Americans and to the rest of the world after 9/11 was worse than 9/11. This is a sentiment that I stand by. I have literally written articles on this. You can Google it if you want. Huffington Post, Hassan Piker, 9/11 was bad. What America did afterwards was worse. That was like fucking back in 2016, 2017 when I said that. If you think I'm scared, I don't know what to tell you. I've said way worse things about 9/11. Okay? Yeah. There you go. Never forget, 9/11 was awful. What we did after was worse. Just remember that we were supporting pedophile warlords in Afghanistan that were doing worse shit than the Taliban. They were the only people in the country who could collaborate for money, and they were so unpopular that they collapsed as soon as we left. You are right. People were running to the Taliban to get away from the horrors of Western-backed forces. 100%. Ironic, because those pedophile warlords and the Chaiwalas that they were literally fucking would turn around and then still kill American soldiers. America was getting buddy fucked by the dudes that they were the only dudes that they could collaborate with. So, like, it was just a gigantic... Wait, you published this on 9/11? I did. In 2017, on 9/11, I published this. This is back before the pussification of the United States of America and the American political sphere. Okay? I stand by that I stand by this sentiment. It is 100% correct. That was the OG 9/11 take that I had. Your 20th anniversary 9/11 stream was one of the best pieces of content related to 9/11 ever created. Yeah. Did you say Chaiwala? I did. Chai boys. The little kids that fucking, little boys that deliver tea. That the pedophile warlords fuck. Yeah, you heard me. Anyway. So yeah, it was fucking bullshit. It was unacceptable. It was fucking disastrous.
Smart. We can handle Russia, China. I did. I took in billions and billions, hundreds of billions of dollars.
I have to say, I respected you until I saw what you think about 9/11. Wait, what? Like just now? Just now you saw what I think about 9/11? Go read that article. Come back to me and tell me if you think that there's any notes on it. Because I'm talking about post 9/11 universe in a selfish American perspective here, okay? I have a lot worse things to say. But this argument literally just pertains to American citizens and how America was eviscerated by post 9/11 legislation. Wait, I thought the Taliban were the pedos, not the Western-backed forces? You thought wrong. Dexerto finally doing positive PR for you? Yeah, good luck with that. Lazan Liker. It doesn't matter. No matter what the fuck Dexerto says, the freaks are still going to come out of the gate swinging and fucking be so annoying. Please play the meme. Here.
And so here we are. I'm living up to what I said about conservatives and progressives. We're having a conversation. So you said America deserved 9/11. Did you mean that?
Yeah.
God, I love that video so much. It's a banger. Yeah, that's a banger. I want to hear what this fucking guy has to say. He's probably just regular trolling, though. Anyway.
Dollars from China. No other president took in anything, and they respected me. He's the same thing, you know. I told him, you can't go into Taiwan. You can't do it. I won't tell you exactly what I said, but it was something that probably a lot of people wouldn't like if they heard it, but it was very tough. Don't go into Taiwan. If you do, we're going to have problems. Other than that, we're going to be great relationship. We're going to have a great relationship. And he said to me when I said, we're going to do something, if he goes in, no, you wouldn't do it. I'll do that. I swear I'll do that. And he didn't believe me, but he believed me 10%. The same thing with Putin. I said I was going to do something really nasty if he goes into Ukraine. He said, no, you're not going to do that. I said, I will. And he didn't believe me either, but he believed me 10%. And the 10%, you never heard talk about going into Ukraine. You never heard talk about going into Taiwan until I was no longer there. Now, what a mess the world is in. What a mess.
Ay. He's right. What a mess.
Do you think Biden will stay in the race?
Look, I watch him just like you do. And I think it's almost inappropriate for me to say it. But I deal with other people. I don't see how it's possible. And it's not an age thing. You know, like I say, I have friends that are 88, 89, 92. Bernie Marcus, Home Depot, is 95.
God damn, he's old, bro. Like, you think I'm old? I know even older people.
Smart as hell. He's sharp as he was. I mean, he's, you know, mentally, Bernie Marcus, Home Depot, founder of Home Depot, one of the founders. I mean, I had a meeting with him a few months ago. He was 100%. I know people that built their fortunes from 80 to 90. They were always struggling, and they made a fortune from 80 to 90. A couple of people in particular. It's, amazing. He's not too old. You know, his age, I think they do the age thing because I'm 4 or 5 years behind. They say, this is a way of getting Trump. Let's go home. But there's something wrong. I saw his answer today on television about whether or not he was going to run to a very nice guy named Al Roker. I mean, you can't get a softer question than that. That was a long answer, talking about the eggs and the this and that. Look, I don't think he can. But say what you want. They didn't expect him to get it. Yeah. You know, people could say he won an election. You know, it always goes, I got the most votes of any person, any sitting president in history.
We still don't know what the fucking nose drip comes from, right? Is it the Sudafed? Like, we still don't fully understand where the fucking nose thing's coming from, right? Because, like, the Zaza, they're saying, believe me, I'm the real Zaza smoker.
I got 15 million less I couldn't lose. They're surrounded by vicious, smart people, radical left people, but they're very smart and they're very vicious. It's not him. It's not him. He's now in Ireland. He's not going to have a news conference. When the world is exploding, I own property in Ireland. I'm not going to Ireland. The world is exploding around us. You could end up in a third world war, and this guy's going to be in Ireland and not having a news conference. He hasn't had a news conference, I guess, in months. I saw today where he hasn't. It's been.
Well, he can't. So if he doesn't run, if he's taken out by his own party, or who knows what happens, but it doesn't seem like he's capable of running again, who does run?
Well, obviously the one that they would talk about would be the vice president, Kamala. That would be the one that they talk about. But I don't think she's performed well on the big stage. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. But there are a certain group of people that will go crazy if it's not her. They're going to be very angry if it's not her. That's a problem. You have a very ambitious guy in California, but he's done a terrible job with the state. I used to get along great with him, you know, when I was president. I got along really good, Gavin.
Well, you got along with Gavin Newsom?
I did. I really did. He was always very nice to me.
Gruesome, they're calling him. I said, hey, listen. You know, you and my son, you got similar taste. Kimberly Guilfoyle, what a piece of ass.
Said the greatest things. He would say things like he's doing a great job. Oh, he was very
About
nice.
you?
About me. That's why I could never hit him, because he was so nice to me. He's just laying in wait, right? But I could, you know,
What? Wait, what the fuck was that?
It's just laying in wait, right?
What? What just happened? Did he just have a fucking aneurysm? What's happening? Laying in wait. The dirt is laying and lying in wait. God, I love him. Just a fucking goat, dude.
But I could, you know, he was very nice to me. And relatively speaking, some of them weren't. We did a good job for the governors. But they talk about him. They talk about some others. I just don't see Biden doing it from a physical or a mental standpoint.
Yes.
I don't see it. But it's been a crazy period of time in the world of politics. But he's surrounded by people. You know, they expected Bernie to win. Now, Bernie's older than Biden, you know, whether you like him or not. He's sharp. I watched him being interviewed the other day. He's 100% sharp. He hasn't lost much, if anything, Bernie Sanders. But, you know, he's older. So it's not an age thing. I just don't see him.
So they're trying to prevent you from making it to the general election by tying you up in lawsuits, charging you with crimes. You've described the process.
It's the old Soviet process.
The old Soviet process. And you've described it as illegitimate. If this goes to trial and you get convicted, like how would you respond in the middle of a presidential campaign?
Well,
how would
it's
you
so off. Statute of limitations are years off. It's hard to believe. You know, usually when you have something like this, the Democrats say, oh, he's terrible, guilty. The Democrats have even said, I'm innocent. I watched some of these, I think it was Andrew McCabe, the FBI guy who I fired. He came out, he said, they've got no case. They've all come out and said it. And then you've had Andrew McCarthy, you've had Jonathan Turley, Greg Jarrett, Dershowitz, all of them. Everybody, like, and they're, you know, down the middle people. They see it. They say, there's no crime. There's no anything. Think of it, Tucker. I've been through 7 years of bull investigations. 7 years. They've looked at, I have a very big company, much bigger than they understand. In fact, when they finally got my taxes, they said, whoa. You know, they took them years to get the taxes. They got them. That was the last you ever heard. You never heard one thing about them. But it took them years to get them, because they shouldn't be looking at my taxes. I was surprised the Supreme Court gave them the right. They shouldn't be looking at people. That's sort of another one of the tenets. You don't do that. But I didn't care that much. I just, on principle, I fought them. And they looked. I built a great company. When you do the things that I do, and you employ thousands and thousands of people over the years, just thousands, we've done a great job. And then I ran for president. People were surprised that I won. But I used to see these rallies. And I'll tell you, the rallies are bigger now. The enthusiasm is more now than I've ever seen. So what do you think, since your poll numbers have risen consistently since they raided this place, Mar-a-Lago? Well, before they raided.
In August.
They were going up substantially before.
Well, they definitely moved after
Since then, they've really been going up.
So how do you think that your opponents will respond?
I don't know how well. We have two opponents. We have a primary opponent. We have a general election opponent.
I mean the Democratic Party using the legal system.
Well, what they're doing is they're finding, and think of this, they say 11 million pages, but whatever it is, through all of these Democrats' investigations. I had the Mueller hoax. I had impeachment hoax number 1, impeachment hoax number 2. Ukraine, Russia. You knew the Russia. I got that whole term from you. Russia. You'd be screaming and it'd say, this guy's a comedian. But you remember that whole period of time.
Quite well.
It turned out to be a total fake. But
oh, I saw this yesterday. When my neuroatypical ass has to campaign in early primary states, it's so good. Why are his hands under the fucking desk, Ron? Huh, Ronnie? Huh, Ronald? Are you afraid, perhaps? Are you worried you'll never defeat the eats with his hands like a baby allegations? Huh? Pull those 3 fingies out. Let's see what you do with that fucking extra meat pepperoni meat lovers pizza pie, huh? Put those 3 fingies in there. Maybe swirl it around a little bit. Meatball Ron. Little Rhonda eating a meatball sandwich. Put his 3 fingers in, folks. I said, don't do it. Don't call him Meatball Ron. I said, believe me, I don't call him that. Everyone else is calling him, though. Many people are calling him Meatball Ron. It's stuck. It's stuck, folks. They're saying people are playing two-card Monty. He's playing three-finger Ronald. Little Rhonda. First time he's been around age-appropriate women. We've all seen those photos, folk. Little Rhonda not gonna be happy. When he runs for president against Donald Trump, not going to be happy. When they say he's around young women all the time, folks, believe me, I'm not saying it. Many people are, though. They know how little Rhonda operates.
Think of this. You know, I tell this story very seldom, but because it's a sad story. So the Russia...
What the fuck are you talking about, Hasan? Why are you so angry that I'm making a joke about how Trump could attack Ron DeSantis by bringing up all the things that Trump has like loosely associated Ron DeSantis with? Why is that so frustrating for you? Like maybe you just didn't get it because you're unfamiliar with all the things that has happened in the Ron DeSantis... Trump from lovers to fighters arc. You know what I mean? Well, like, why are you so mad? Why you have to be mad? I was joking. Okay, take a second off and reconsider that.
Russia hoax was made up by crooked Hillary Clinton, Adam Schiff, the DNC, the Democrat Party. The dossier is a total...
Yeah, he ate that 1 second ban.
You know, on that. We're suing him a lot because... Unfortunately, Bill Barr didn't have the courage to do what he should have done. He was so afraid of being impeached. So I have to do it civilly. I have to sue people. The Justice Department should have done, because these are criminals. But think of this. So you have all of these millions and millions of pages, and they get you on a non-disclosure agreement? I mean, big numbers, billions and billions of dollars, right? And they get you on a perfect non-disclosure agreement, or they get you on nothing.
The non-disclosure agreement was perfect. No one has ever done a non-disclosure agreement that is as perfect. The perfect phone call. It's a perfect non-disclosure agreement. Awesome. He's the GOAT.
A friend of mine who's a big business guy said, you have to be the most honest guy in the world, because with all of those numbers that you have and those big numbers, they don't have anything. And you have to see, take a look at the people I just mentioned. Look, read what they said. There was no crime. In fact, a lot of people are saying he indicted somebody. There's no crime. That's illegal to do, you know, what he did. So I don't see it going. I mean, we'll have to see.
So, but just to bottom line it, I mean, the purpose of this is to keep you out of the presidential race.
If I weren't running, or if I had bad poll numbers, let's say.
Right.
And again, remember, the Democrats are the party of disinformation. If they want you to run, if they want to run against somebody, they're going to go the opposite. For instance, they don't want to run against me. And now, I just gave you a poll. I'm 9 points up on Biden. But they're the party of disinformation. So what they say is, oh, we want to run against
What kind of crime? We're watching a fucking crime right now. I'm doing the crime. I'm watching a man get fucked and sucked on camera, okay? A very old man. But I don't know what this crime is. We interrupt our regular broadcast. Wait, there is no fucking shot. It's another police cruiser.
Using that shoulder, even though he's got plenty of freeway to play with here, he appears to be committed to the northbound side of the.
Yeah, he's just going. He's just going on the high occupancy lane. Classic. And they want to arrest him because he has no one else in the car with him. That's pretty fucked up. Do you have a actual link, like a YouTube link that I can hit? So that I can watch it delayed so I don't get fucking owned by showing you a crime that Does anyone have a YouTube link for this?
Side of the 5 freeway, so the 170. So the 170 has come to an end. He's transitioned onto the 5 freeway. Traffic is moderate to heavy, but it's only going to get worse the further north he gets towards the Newhall Pass. He's in Arleta now as he looks for any space in these lanes to weave through. It's very dangerous, but I've got to tell you, with an unpredictable driver like this, it's
he went from
on the freeway than if he was to get off on surface streets.
Bro, this motherfucker literally went from driving in the high occupancy lane to just bobbing and weaving so closely and near missing on trucks and shit. It's crazy.
Like a linebacker trying to rush through an offensive line there. You can see he's continuing to weave through all of those cars. Maybe
how long until someone does this just to be on stream? I don't know. I hope never.
He's bypassing all of them as he continues these unsafe lane changes at a pretty high rate of speed despite the moderate traffic.
Yeah, we saw him stick his arm out the window. Not sure if he was doing any signals to the.
Is this a silver alert? No shot. It's a silver alert.
Yeah, he was zipping across 4 lanes and really high rate of speed there. I think we are going to let you know that we're going to be staying on this here on live TV, ABC 7. Or are we going? Wait, we're going to be streaming or streaming live?
No, we're going to be streaming.
We'll be streaming at ABC7.com and on the Los Angeles app. You can stay tuned for World News Tonight, the live version of World News Tonight with David Muir. But we are going to stick on this. If you want to just switch over to ABC7.com or our Los Angeles.
Are you saying it's a silver alert because you saw the handicap placard? Is that why?
Again, as we're winding down to the last minute of our broadcast here on Channel 7, again, we are going to go streaming. So if you do have ABC 7 Los Angeles app, get right on it so you can continue to watch this breaking news. Again, you're seeing this driver just really making his way through the Pacoima area, but he's been driving at a really quick rate of speed. And the CHP, they've been very close behind. I know that doesn't seem like they've really let him out of their sights or have gone into that tracking mode, which many times when these get really dangerous, they decide that maybe we should ease up on that pedal behind them.
And on our website and ABC7 Los Angeles app, we're going to be talking to
a silver alert is when like an old man gets lost.
There. In the meantime, we hope you have a wonderful afternoon. We'll be back here live on ABC 7 for Eyewitness News at 4 o'clock. Stay tuned.
Wait, what? Are they done? I don't get it. Are they done with this video?
All right, you're continuing to watch this breaking news on our streaming platforms. We're talking.
They're moving away from it on. They're moving away from it on television, but they're.
This car was wanted, the driver was wanted for making an unsafe lane change. And then, of course, that routine traffic stop sort of triggered him to put the pedal to the metal and try to get away from authorities. And this is what we've been seeing, weaving in and out down Ellen and, going really fast and unsafe.
Yeah, and then we are also going to be joined right now by law enforcement expert Bruce Thomas. And Bruce, you covered a lot of pursuits with us. I can't even count how many you've covered with us. What can you tell us about what you are seeing so far?
Well, my understanding is that it was a failure to yield or some unsafe lane change, basically traffic violations. And now what the driver is doing is endangering everybody's life by continuing to drive in a wanton disregard for speeds and lane changes. Ultimately, what we found out in these cases is the driver may just have a suspended license or have some warrants for unpaid traffic tickets.
Oh, that would be a shame, to be so nervous to pull over because you're scared about what's going to happen about something. I mean, it's not trivial, but something as minor as parking tickets or expired driver's license.
He's in a lot more trouble now.
No kidding. But anyway, as you said, Bruce, you do see it happen. And also, we do have Chris Christie. He's overhead in Air 7 HD. As well. Chris, I don't know how the traffic is starting to look, but again, you're saying this is sort of that beginning of the afternoon commute.
Well, he had a rough patch there.
He's going.
Colleen, as he made his way past the 118 freeway where it splits, and now you can see where the 5 splits rather, and now he is on the 5 freeway where traffic has broken through a little bit. Really stop and go traffic as we make our way further north through the Sylmar area and eventually into the Newhall Pass, which appears to be the direction he's headed in. Has passed a number of exits but has not gotten off at any of them, just using whatever space he can on the freeway to try and squeeze through, splitting lanes, threading the needle, coming very close, a lot close calls, but from my vantage point has not actually made contact with any of these cars. And with all of this traffic, you can see them applying a little more pressure, trying to stay right behind him and trying to prevent him from getting too far away where they lose a visual. They don't want to lose a visual of the suspect because right now there are no air units handy, from what I can tell, able to call this pursuit from the air. So they're really relying on that SUV right behind him to maintain a solid visual and call out those locations and his moves and his speed as he continues moving up the 5 freeway, which is now where we're at here, right where the 210 and the 5 meet up here at the Newhall Pass. Traffic, again, moderate through the Newhall Pass, usually a little bit heavier this time of the day, but he does have some room to play with here, and he is using every bit of it to try and evade that primary officer right behind him.
For the record,
only 2 or 3
this is a very unique predicament. I'm going to pause this for a second, or I'm going to lower the audio for a second and say some shit. This is one of the few, or not few, but like we watch a lot of car chases. 6 of them happen a day in Los Angeles, something crazy like that. This is directly a fuck up on behalf of the police. This is one of those where like, I don't know what crime this person has committed, but like the idea that you need to fucking give chase to a dude like this for a minor moving violation is absolutely unimaginably insane. He did an illegal lane change, and that's why they're pursuing him right now. Okay? That's bullshit. Like an unsafe lane change. Look at the litany of other lack of safety. How many unsafe lane changes have fucking cops engaged in the pursuit of this fucking dude? Like what? You can't fucking keep tracking him? You can't keep tracking him with a helicopter? You have to fucking have a unit directly up his ass, agitating him, getting him more scared, getting him to drive erratically. It's so stupid. So remember that. Like, this is one of those instances where they don't have to fucking do that at all.
Things being considered right now as they continue to pursue this driver.
Well,
they have his license plate. It's over.
Minute by minute.
What are you doing?
Conditions. What is the reason for the pursuit? How many occupants? And the safety of the public, the officers, and the suspect. So in this case, they know where this vehicle is registered. It may be registered up in the Santa Clarita, Antelope Valley area. So they may just go to the house and may cancel this pursuit. Or they may stay with it until they have an airship up overhead.
Yeah, they can go to his house.
Is that one of the first things they do is run the license to make sure that car hasn't been reported stolen?
Yes, ma'am. That's one of the first things they do is because they're trying to gain information on the vehicle. Is the vehicle wanted for anything of a felony, armed and dangerous, stolen vehicle, wants or warrants. So they're gaining all
Wait, hold up. Do you mean they shouldn't have pulled him over or just to use a chopper, not have a multi-car chase after he ran? No, not have a multi-car chase after he fucking ran. Duh. It's a fucking lane. It is literally an improper lane change. For that to turn into like, this level of like madness is a fuck up on behalf of the police, in my opinion. Like, this is significantly worse for public safety. Now, if he had done this shit, and if he was actually driving like this and cops tried to stop him, that makes sense. But he wasn't fucking driving like this until cops tried to stop him. So indirectly, they literally are like causing more chaos. It is an escalation. Remember, the original crime is so minor. And look at this shit. He's like bobbing and weaving through the fucking crowd like a psycho now. Yeah, exactly. M. Hood is correct. This is why a lot of cities don't let their cops give chase, by the way. This is precisely the reason why.
On the 5 freeway, now passing Calgrove Boulevard, and again, looking for any inch of freeway to get away here. Something tells me they're going to take this all the way through Santa Clarita, because right now the best tactic, by my estimation, is to just let him use up as much fuel as possible. Pit maneuver, rather, not an option here. Obviously, spike strips aren't going to work on the freeway, but they can certainly put the pressure on and keep.
What do you mean a pit maneuver or a spike strip? Like that's a wild fucking what? Also, they're driving pretty well.
Goes all the way up the state, and they have plenty of CHP officers up and down the 5 freeway, and plenty of division.
He said that that's not an option, but like bringing that up is psychotic. Silk and Cookies, thank you for the 25. Get the subs. It's like they're so horny. They're so fucking horny. Is car chasing leftist? It's not. I'm not a leftist. I'm sick and tired of this. Okay, I'm a capitalist. Okay. Yeah, he's got a handicap sticker. We need some Scud missiles ASAP on this guy. Well, we can't do it because it's on the highway. Can you compare how he drives to Austin? No, because Austin drives like shit. Not even a thing.
Bunches up on the 5 freeway, but now the further away he gets from the metro LA area, the lighter traffic is going to get, and that's gonna, I believe, prompt him to speed up quite a bit. In fact, we're seeing already pretty close to triple-digit speeds, about 100 miles per hour as he passes McBean Parkway.
Oh boy!
Wow, and of course we're talking about this driver. It appears it's possibly their car because they're driving it with, you know, such fluidity to it. Bruce, I'm just curious about these poor drivers on the road, and you know, many of us, we move to the right when we see law enforcement coming behind us, but when you're seeing a car that's just kind of careening right behind you, what is your advice for people who are just driving with their families, picking them up from school or on their way home? I mean, it is scary.
Yeah, it's very scary, Colleen. And, you know, you have a conflict because you're taught pull to the right of the road when you see an emergency vehicle. However, in this case, they're not the issue. It's this reckless driver who's weaving in and out. So with good intentions, you pull to the right, and now it's occupied by this suspect vehicle. I would just recommend to people, stay in your lane, stay your speed, let them go around you for safety's sake.
Yeah, that makes sense.
We always see some people try to get in the way and try to block these drivers, especially when they get into traffic. But I'm always thinking, if this person is so intent on getting away, you're not necessarily safe.
Right, exactly. And plus, we've seen him go in and out of traffic, so it's hard to decipher where is he going to go next, or determine where he's going to go, which lane is he going to take. And this guy.
And the last thing we want anybody to do is to get involved in this pursuit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
right,
there it is, 100 miles per hour.
Also passing Magic Mountain Parkway there, or close to it. And after that, the traffic does get a lot lighter because there's not much after Magic Mountain.
Yeah, the irony is you could literally break the law while on the chase, worse than what is this illegal lane change and get away because they're busy. Oh, shit, his fucking mirror is about to fall off because he probably scuffed it on another car while he was doing these like insane near misses at 80 miles an hour.
As the freeway traffic has lightened up considerably. You said it, Colleen and Ellen. We are right next to Magic Mountain theme park, and he is continuing northbound on the 5 freeway. Those 2 primary units behind him serving multiple purposes, and one of the really great things about the pressure they're applying here is that the traffic near him is well aware of those lights and sirens that are immediately behind him. So that's a key indicator that, again, as Bruce mentioned, best idea, stay in your lane. More narrow, close calls there, but best idea for these drivers to stay in their lane and just continue to follow the rules.
Bro, he's going 101 miles the entire time.
As possible, if you see him coming up from behind you, that's really the only.
Like he's averaging, thus far, he's averaged like 90 miles an hour. Like it's insane. Like he keeps picking up speeds. It goes like 100. He hits top speeds more than 100 miles.
All 4 lanes of the 5 freeway to play with here.
Yeah, 92 miles an hour too. Incredible.
Yeah, he's hovering between 90 and 100, so I think that's going to be the speed that we maintain here. And of course, if he does maintain that speed, he will. Did
you just say VTEC power? What the fuck do you mean?
Faster, and that also is good news.
Yeah, we can only hope. It's always when a pursuit starts, you just hope that he doesn't have a full tank or she doesn't have a full tank.
Right, and hope that the car isn't totally fuel efficient.
No way you haven't hit 90 in your Taycan. Of course I have. I've hit way more than 90 in my Taycan.
Many miles without
just not when I'm escaping the police, dude.
On top of this pursuit, again, this started. The original want was an unsafe lane change, which then triggered this whole pursuit to take place. In the CHP, we've been noticing, Bruce, you are our law enforcement expert. As Ellen said earlier, you join us many times on these pursuits, numerous pursuits that are all different, and the suspects, they're just as different as the pursuits themselves. So when you see something like this, they're going such a long distance. They're not taking surface streets. What does it make you kind of, if you're getting into
I'm still on a loaner, but the loaner is sick, so I don't really mind it.
Really are adding the pressure.
The loaner that they gave me is a Panamera GT3,
one of the things they're doing is you have CHP,
which is the highest trim anyway, so it's like a higher trim than the one I have on my Taycan, even though the Taycan's faster.
Not going to outrun the radio.
But I like it because like it's got. Or GTS, sorry, not GT3. I like it because it's it has an engine, so it's like fucking awesome. Like it sounds awesome. That's the biggest L of the. That's the biggest L of the fucking Taycan.
You know, threading the needle through 2 cars and lanes that are adjacent to each other. So
not a GT3, sorry, GTS.
His, looks like his rear view mirror on the passenger side. So who knows?
I don't think the Panamera has a GT3. I said it wrong.
Situation, just driving along and somebody just bumps you.
Yeah.
What do you say?
We were just saying it's pretty scary, Chris, when you were talking about the rear view mirror on the right.
How did you
side.
like the bends?
You know,
what bends?
Most of these people, they're on the road. They're just minding their own business. They have no idea what's coming at them from behind. And then somebody obviously was clipped by that rear view mirror.
How long does it take to replace a tire? It's not the tire replacement that's taking a long time. There's like 3-4 recalls. The electric vehicle.
There is some damage on the undercarriage on this right passenger side. You can see some more plastic hitting the pavement there. So he's obviously run over something as well. And there may be a surprise for him up ahead. If they have an opportunity, there may be enough freeway, enough open freeway where they could set up for a spike strip. That's up in the air at this point. It's not something we see often, but we have seen it occasionally, a little more frequently in recent years, where they will give it a shot.
This is from last year. It's funny as fuck.
Allow, and if there's enough straightaway freeway for them to lay down a spike strip.
That's back when he was still canceling me.
To hopefully run over. It's got to be a narrow enough part that they feel confident he won't drive around it, or maybe it's on a transition road, but there is some chatter about that coming up.
100+ miles on a 2010 Volkswagen Jetta has to be terrifying? No, man, those things are built.
Units coming up from behind
They're built
well, as several more patrol officers have joined the party here. And they're doing so at just the right time, because the further north we get here, the lower the ceiling gets, and that's going to be prohibitive for CHP's helicopter to make their way up here. In fact, at some point, we may run into a wall of clouds that might prevent us from continuing much further. But right now, we're just past Castaic as he continues northbound on the 5 freeway. A few cars on the freeway with him there, lots of trucks, as you can see, but he's got some more pressure now coming up from behind him.
Chris, you know, it's always interesting to notice. By the way, I want to correct myself. The side view mirror.
I think I said that first too. The rear view mirror.
Well, then I copied you.
It's my fault.
So, you know. Well, anyway, we know it's the side view mirror that is dangling on the right side. But
if you're asking yourself why
Chris,
4 cruisers
the CHP,
and a helicopter is giving chase to a motherfucker who did an improper lane change, okay, understand that the Los Angeles Police Department, the LAPD alone, not the entire state, because this is the California Highway Patrol, LAPD's resources are so vast that they spend $8 million a day. When you got that kind of money, you can fucking get away with burning it. You got the burn rate. You got to burn it, baby. You got to spend money to make money.
On the 101 freeway, that was likely the Central LA division that initiated the pursuit. Not exactly sure where it started, but we picked it up around Hollywood. And then once he got into the San Fernando Valley, their North Hollywood or their West Valley division took over the pursuit. Again, a new team of officers.
Also, this is not a Jetta. I don't think this is a Jetta. I think this is a Passat. Unless like newer Jettas are much larger, it looks like it's a Passat.
Rita and points beyond, they will continue to hand this off. Division office by division, the different stations will continue to take this over, and they will communicate with the various stations up ahead that this pursuit is coming their way, and to be ready if they have the available units and resources to dedicate to the pursuit. Now,
I used to have a Jetta back in the day. I had an old ass Jetta. I had a 2001 Jetta. It was awful.
Police business, and they may not be able to pick up their pursuit, and then that lead unit will have a decision to make. The watch commander will make the decision, and the supervisors will work together and decide whether it's worth continuing the pursuit much longer.
6 cars for this?
It's worth just giving it up for everybody's safety involved. But in this case, they are dedicating more resources, not less. And the 5 freeway, as I mentioned, goes all the way up the state of California. So they can continue this dance as long as there is fuel left in the tank. And I think this is probably the best bet. As I said a while ago, this is the best case anybody could hope for, is that he stays on the freeway where the collateral damage is minimal, and now he's made his way far up north enough that traffic is so light that the risks are even less, and as long as he stays on the freeway.
Is that a skateboard in the back? Oh no.
It'll remain that way.
Bro, this could be a stolen car, because I feel like that's such an old person thing to have in the back of your car. It's got a handicap placard. It's got that classic, like, old guy sun shield in the back. No, I don't think that was an oxygen tank. I think it's a sun shield that's, like, packed up. So, you know what I mean? Do you know what that is? You know what that is? Like, old people do that. My dad does that to his car. He puts a sun shield so that there isn't sun damage in the inside of the car, and the car is like cooler on a hot summer's day. Everybody does it. I feel like it's boomer shit.
It's not ground fog, but there's enough of a cloud ceiling here, especially the higher in altitude we get heading up the Grapevine towards Bakersfield, where
people are getting mad. They're like, anyone who cares about their car does that, not old people. Okay, bro, sorry, I called you old. Okay, my bad.
Those ground units to maintain the pursuit, but as far as ground fog, I don't see that being an issue, at least in the near future. Of course, again, the higher we get in elevation, that could
My neighbor in Guam had one of those with a giant nigga tits on it. That's what I'm talking about, baby.
For those ground units should not play a role here, but we are making our way further up the Grapevine, and sure enough, altitude does play a role. And right now, it's pretty much uphill for the next several miles as he continues to push the pedal to the metal.
Well, let's check back with our Bruce Thomas. And Bruce, what are your thoughts on if this pursuit will continue, or will they just let it, will they kind of sit back and let the driver just kind of go peacefully if they know who he is? What would be the process?
Just backtracking a little bit what you were talking about, the choreography. What they're doing is they're swapping out primary vehicle, as Chris said, secondary and third vehicles. And that is so the officers don't get tunnel vision. Because typically in a pursuit, the lead vehicle's job is to follow the suspect vehicle. The second unit or a helicopter will call the pursuit, meaning they're giving the ground speed, the direction of travel, the streets.
I love the One Piece copyright-free music playlist.
So at this case, I think
this song goes entirely too hard.
To the public at this point. Obviously, this driver is now wanted for misdemeanor hit run and felony felony evading and speeds over 100 miles an hour, which are all misdemeanor charges. But in this case, I don't think CHP is going to let this go.
Yeah, guys, we're continuing northbound on the freeway, passing Templin Highway, and pretty much, no man's land for the next several miles up until he gets to Gorman, and then on the way up there, from there, he basically will start getting closer to Bakersfield, where there.
Borlo says chases cost hundreds of millions of dollars a year in wrongful death cases. The fuck's he doing as a cell phone?
The vehicle, not clear what he's trying to convey there.
And he says
for a bulk of this pursuit,
property damage and overall police costs, but guess what? What about the content?
Steering wheel almost the entire time. But again,
Oh my God, he's saying he's a mobile chatter.
To go waving his hand at the driver's side window with that cell phone in the air. Those lead units still right behind him here. The 5 freeway, about 3 or 4 lanes as he makes his way through Gorman here. More units up ahead of him. There's actually an unrelated unit, a possible speed trap actually, that just happens to be there. And look at that, there's the spike. There's the spike, and it looks like it was a miss. I caught it at the corner of the screen. A very rare, I would say unorthodox, Bruce could correct me, but I think it's maybe once a year lately that we see a spike strip attempt on the freeway.
Bro, you could fucking kill someone. High speed spike, you could literally fucking kill someone. That's insane, dude. At that speed, you could kill the driver and other people that he hits. That is literally infinitely worse of a fucking crime, in my opinion, than what this motherfucker is doing right now. That's wild. That's violent. That's the California Highway Patrol, baby. That's how they roll. What was his crime? Would you believe me if I told you it was an improper lane change? Because yes, that is precisely what his original crime is. No, it's reckless driving now. It was literally an improper lane change. That's why they have 6 squad cars. They utilize the fucking spike strip when he's going 100 miles down a fucking freeway. They have a helicopter on his ass. Don't do that. Don't do that. I hate that. This is a very, like, you know, Grand Theft Auto, no pixel ass fucking response, to be fair. Why do you watch every car chase, dude? Well, it's content. And I'm a fucking goblin. I'm a news outlet, baby. That's what I'm just doing what news outlets do. Send the bill to Rockstar for not releasing Grand Theft Auto 6. I agree. Shit's getting completely out of hand. He's been a really good driver, ironically. Like, reckless and all, He has literally been driving up a goddamn storm this entire time. No jokes. Oh, no. He's not. She's not going to do that. Are you fucking joking?
Yep. Spikes across. There's the spike. And
he hit it.
He might have hit it.
He hit the fucking cop car too.
Patrol car. Yep. He hit it.
And it looks like the patrol car went over
he hit it. At least, I think the patrol. Did he? I have to replay that.
Looked like it.
Oh, he definitely hit it.
The patrol car might have gone around it, but you can see now clearly that front right wheel heavily affected, immediately going flat. Look at that.
Yeah, bro, he's going 100 miles an hour. This car can fucking flip, dude.
Didn't take long at all, and now it looks like he's about to be running on empty, at least on that front right and the right rear.
Oh, goddamn, he's going to fucking flip.
Are now running low on air, and they will be flat here in a second. We'll get around the driver's side if it's possible, and we'll try and get a better picture of what's going on that side of the vehicle. Not one, but two separate spike strip attempts on the freeway. Colleen and Ellen, something I have not seen in some time, but it appears to have been successful in this case, and I think that's going to start to wrap up the pursuit here in the coming minutes, if I'm not mistaken. I think this vehicle is now on.
Bro, I just realized that I've been fucking watching on the second screen. I thought I was watching this with like delay to make sure. It turns out I'm not watching this with delay at all. The second screen was actually delayed, not this one. I thought I had a fucking delay on it. I was wrong.
The color of this pursuit, I'm no longer going to be maneuvering at 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, definitely. His speeds will decrease, as Chris said, with the spikes that are being deployed. They may have gotten a CHP vehicle also. That's just the nature of the pursuit. I know this is a Passat and they're front-wheel drive vehicles, but if those tires deflate very quickly, they're going to be...
Okay, Bruce, we have to interrupt you. Bruce, we have to interrupt you for just 1 moment. It's at 4 o'clock in just 4 seconds.
What?
This is Eyewitness News with live breaking news.
It goes back. It goes back to the...
Right now at 4, the CHP chasing a reckless driver on the 5 freeway, speeds reaching over 100 miles an hour. Thanks for joining us, in David Ono.
And I'm Ellen Leyva. You're watching.
At the top of the hour, there's a 3-minute ad break, and there's a shift change. And there's an attitude change in the HasanAbi broadcast because the unsubscribed recognize that they will be seeing an ad. Unless they are subscribed for $5 or for free with the Twitch Prime, or by getting gifted a sub. Here's a 3-minute ad break now. If you can't afford it, then you might get gifted if you're lucky.
The 5 freeway, where just moments ago, not one but 2 spike strip attempts were made. The second one appears to have been successful, knocking out the right 2 tires. You're looking at the left 2 tires on the driver's side, which appear to be intact, but the
fact
right
that
tires, both the
he's
front
still going
and the
60
rear,
miles an hour
run out
without 2 fucking tires on the right side is insane to me. That shit's gonna strip so fucking hard.
He continues up the 5 freeway at 50 to 60 miles per hour, continue going uphill with at least 4 CHP units right behind him. In fact, he's made the decision for the first time in this pursuit to get off the freeway. He ran over something, or maybe the tire came apart there, but you saw some debris flying off the vehicle, and now he's getting off at Smoky Bear Road here on the 5 freeway.
We have a replay now of that spike strip. Oh, a big piece of tire just came. Look at that. The whole tread's coming off.
It sure did.
He's going to have
the pit. There's the pit.
Oh!
Spinning the vehicle out of
Oh!
a full 180 underneath the freeway, and those CHP units have come out the other side.
It's over!
The vehicle has now come to a standstill on the underneath the freeway. Looks like those officers are getting ready for a confrontation here. He may have gone for a run. He may have gotten out of the vehicle. He had foot pursuit.
Oh, foot pursuit!
Onto the freeway. He's climbing up the embankment. He's trying to get on the freeway, guys. Northbound side of the 5 freeway. Some trucks coming up there. And
what the fuck's he doing?
Northbound side of the 5 freeway. The foot chase is going to stop there because those officers will not chase him across the freeway over the divider. More oncoming traffic here, and this is so dangerous as he comes out the other side. They will be there to meet him on
I don't think this is an old guy, folks.
The K9 unit starting to cross the freeway, turning around there. They will get units on the other side of the freeway within seconds here, and hopefully he will just run out of steam here. Certainly the vehicle gave up on him. You saw the tires come apart, the full tire flying off the vehicle, and then that successful pit maneuver underneath the freeway. He immediately
Bro, what is he doing?
Went for a run.
What's he gonna do?
All of the northbound and southbound lanes of the freeway, and he is now trying to hitchhike his way.
Bro, he's trying to. Yo!
I was wondering what he was doing because of the.
Okay, respect.
Freeway. He looked like he was running towards them, but yeah, he's trying to hail a car of some sort, staying on the freeway, which we have seen some horrible things on the freeway in the past. You cannot underestimate the speed of these cars. But he's now in the middle. Maybe that's
this is one of the most insane things I've ever seen, dude.
The divider again, back on the northbound side.
Oh dear.
He's trying to carjack a vehicle.
Yo! That guy literally tried to get a free kill.
If he continues this kind
he tried to get a free kill. You see that?
But now he is trying to carjack these cars on the freeway.
Oh my goodness. And they're at a standstill, which is not helping matters.
Yeah, everyone's doors are locked, brother. What are you doing?
Unlocked door to try and get out of the situation, but they are going to close in on him here pretty soon. I can't imagine that they're that far back. I don't want to lose him here. We're going to stay pretty tight, but I'm trying to look to see.
Yo! Classic! I've done this. I've done this on No Pixel. Oh, he's so cooked. There's cars. There's cars down below.
Where the vehicle is. And there should be officers down there. I don't see them, but you would imagine.
What the fuck's he doing?
4 officers underneath the freeway.
One patrol
car. There's one of them.
Okay, we got someone behind him and then someone down on the ground too.
He might be hiding under the freeway, up the embankment. There's those nooks and crannies up there.
It's busted. It's over. There's no shot.
But there is a unit moving pretty quickly. Oh, there he is.
Oh, he's surrendering.
It's over. It's over. It's Jover. It's Jover. It's Jover. It's Jover. It's Jover.
To hide out, but it looks like he's come out the west side of the 5 freeway. He's now being confronted with a taser with his hands in the air. He's on his knees, not exactly complying, but here he goes, now about to be proned out on the roadway down below, underneath the 5 freeway, still resisting. 4 officers on top of him.
It's over.
And it looks like he is going to be subdued here as that K-9 unit is barking very loudly and very aggressively. You can see this has now come to an end, and thankfully, nobody hurt after what could have turned into a very dangerous situation. Somebody so desperate that they were even trying to.
Yeah, he's definitely resisting, bro. Definitely.
Afternoon here. Fortunately, couldn't.
One of the most annoying aspects of this is that I can't fucking find a goddamn video, like an actually busted video. Like when I look for a video, 4 guys in a heli for this, 4 squad cars and a motherfucking helicopter, dude. And that truck that dude tried to run the dude over was wild. Yeah, I mean, he was. They hit every fucking psychotic move on that. They did a spike strip when the fucking guy was running 100 miles an hour. They hit a spike strip on him. They tried to spike strip him twice, second time successfully. They spike stripped a cop car on accident. I mean, absolute madness. Absolute fucking madness. All off of an improper lane change. That's because it's wasted, not busted? No, he didn't get wasted. He got busted. All right, let's get back to my king, my goat, Donald motherfucking Trump. All right, that car chase, that high-speed car chase was brought to you by the Los Angeles Police Department, California Highway Patrol, and a lack of Grand Theft Auto 6. But now we are back to our regular broadcasting schedule.
Now, they always do that. You know, they do that. and other people would do it, but they do it pretty much better than others.
Is there anything they could throw at you legally that would convince you to drop out of the race? If you get convicted in this case in New York,
no, I'd never drop out. No, I'd never drop. It's not my thing. I wouldn't do it.
I gotta pee. I'll be back.
Covering the weather beat here in windy Palm Beach. Actually, we're here to interview the former president and now the Republican frontrunner, Donald Trump. While the rest of us have spent the last 2.5 years arguing about systemic racism and trans rights and other ephemera, other imaginary things, America's position globally has eroded so fast it defies belief. But Donald Trump has noticed things have really changed since he left office, and that's the topic of this next part of the conversation. Here it is. You said at the time when you were president that going to war with Russia, either hot war or cold war, would drive Russia into an alliance with China.
I did.
And that would displace us as the most powerful nation.
I did. But we have a bigger problem. The bigger problem is the weaponry. The weaponry today is so powerful. This isn't like Second World War where we have army tanks running around shooting each other. This is weapons the likes of which the world has never seen before. They have them and we have them. And China has them less, but within 5 years, China will have equal to us. China, I'm talking about nuclear. China has the beginnings of a very big, very powerful nuclear. They're short 5 years. They had started much later. Russia and us are comparable. Massive power, massive. And that's one of the things.
More than people understand, do you
More
think?
than people understand, yeah. Yeah, more.
Were you
They don't
surprised?
understand the power. If you look at Hiroshima, as some people
Yeah.
call it, if you look at
Hiroshima, some people call it. Dude, he's the fucking GOAT. Missile incoming. Evacuate order issued in the Japanese region of Hokkaido. The North Korean missile is expected to land in 2 minutes. Get to shelter immediately. What? It's expected to hit land? What the fuck do you mean? What? It's not, there's no fucking shot. No. What has happened before is like when they fucking send missiles in that direction, but it's not supposed to literally hit landmass. It's usually flying over the land. It happens all the time. They're making it seem like it's supposed to expect it to land implies that. Wait, this was like, wait, hold on. This came out at 4 p.m. The ballistic missile launched from North Korea has been airborne for 35 minutes now. It was expected to strike in or around the Hokkaido region roughly 8 minutes ago. Wait. So didn't it just like pass by then? I don't understand. Okay, so this is obviously completely unsafe, completely terrifying, but it's not, you know, it's not like there's a difference between literally fucking like aiming at the land versus like throwing it over. And the throwing it over thing is what they do all the time, which is why I'm so shocked that they're saying, no, this one's going to land on land. So, Ukraine take incoming? What? I haven't said anything. Why are you so ready to fucking be like, Hasan, you're going to be in the wrong here? I didn't even say anything, you fucking idiot. I literally said North Korea does ballistic missile tests near Japan all the time. This one is unique because they rarely ever say it's going to hit landmass. Okay? Sirens do blare. Sirens blare. They want you to fucking... No, this is not Jover. This is like, this does happen. Guys, we've literally covered this on the broadcast before. This is normal protocol for North Korean missile tests, understandably. There's a difference between whether or not this is another one that... This has happened before. We've covered it before. God damn it. Y'all are so fucking annoying. What the fuck? The difference would be... The difference would be whether or not this is like actually hitting landmass or not. And I fucking highly doubt it is, even though that OSINT Twitter account said that it would. That's what's unique about this. Yeah, it's always around the same area too. I think you got whipped up into a frenzy from... Is this not like quite bad if it does hit land? What do you mean? What? Guys, what the fuck are you saying? Yes, if it hits landmass, that would be quite literally a declaration of war from the Democratic People's Republic of Korea to Japan, a nation aligned with the United States of America. It would literally fucking kill people. It would kill... What? Yes. How are they able to know that it launched but not be able to track it and see where it is right now? That was supposed to land 8 minutes ago? I don't know. Yeah, guys, you want to know how fucking common it is? We watched this last year. This is a video from 5 years ago from Chris Broad, abroad in Japan, and we literally watched this last year when chat said this was happening, and it was unique.
And vibrating and going mental, and then there was this air raid siren going on outside for a missile from North Korea. I don't know if it's...
I think I've shown this video twice in chat now, not even once. This is the third time I'm showing it. Anyway. Yeah, I think OSINT Defender is going crazy. Anyway, let's continue.
Nagasaki. You look at those two events, took place many, many years ago, and multiply that power times 500. That's what you're talking about. Where it actually melted the granite. You know, granite is unmeltable by blowtorches.
Yes.
But the granite, if you look at granite areas, it's like water that got, you know, hardened, like an ice skating rink. It melted the granite. If you look at that and multiply it times 500, that's what you're talking about. When I listen to people talk about global warming, that the ocean will rise in the next 300 years by 1/8 of an inch, and they talk about this is our problem. Our big problem is nuclear warming, and nobody even talks about it. The environmentalists talk about all this nonsense in many cases. Look, I'm an environmentalist also, I guess, in my own way, because I've done a good job with the environment, but nobody talks about nuclear, the problem we have, the biggest problem we have in the whole world. It's not global warming, it's nuclear warming. And all it takes is one madman, and you're going to have a problem the likes of which the world has never seen. And it's only a matter of seconds. You don't have to wait 200 to 300 years for it to happen. So
what you're saying is demonstrably true. Why is this not something our leaders talk about or the press talks about?
Because I don't think they're smart. I don't think they get it. Putin got it. I would talk to him about it all the time. I never mentioned the word nuclear. You never heard me mention the word. You know, my uncle was a professor, a great professor at MIT for a long time. I think he has the longest, Dr. John Trump. And he would talk about a lot of different things, and it was very interesting to me. For years, I talked to him. Passed away. He's a great, great gentleman. I think it's the longest tenured professor in the history of MIT. But if he wasn't, he was very close, because he was there for almost 40 years. And we talk about things, and he said, you know, someday they'll have a suitcase, and in that suitcase, it'll be nuclear, and you'll blow up New York City out of a suitcase. And I said, no, Uncle John, that can't possibly. He's right. The power is so incredible. You can fire up a submarine and run it for years on essentially a tablet. Run it for years. So when we talk about war, and when I watch all of the people talking about Ukraine and how's Ukraine doing, blah, 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 Russia's sitting back. First of all, Ukraine's being obliterated.
Yes.
Okay, let's not even talk nuclear. But let's say it wasn't. Let's say they were doing better than anticipated. If he decided to use his second form of destruction, which is nuclear, that's the end of that. You understand? And I know where you are in Ukraine, so I mean, you understand it better than most. Most people don't. Most people don't even talk about it. They don't talk about the fact that he has equal to the United States in nuclear capability and destruction. And so I watch all of this happening, and it's so sad.
But can I just ask, so the Biden people know the power of nuclear weapons. They now control our arsenal. They don't seem worried about this.
That's because they don't understand life. They don't understand whatever it is that you have to understand. You know, it's very interesting. At the very beginning, Biden was very afraid of nuclear, because I watched him and he was, oh, they have nuclear weapons. Oh, which was exactly the wrong signal to send. You don't do that. But if you go back and check your files, you'll see Biden early on saying, oh, well, we can't do this. They have nuclear weapons. Well, you don't want to, you don't want to act that way.
Yeah.
But he was very afraid of nuclear. I said, you know, you got to be a little bit cooler than that. But what happened is now that nobody talks about it. But every day Putin mentions it, and every day other people mention it. And now all of a sudden, if you look, other countries are talking about it.
I love the implication here that, like, Biden originally didn't speak enough about nuclear weapons, and now he's not speaking at all about nuclear weapons and not taking it seriously, which is like you didn't even need to say that, because like no one really knows or understands. Like no one has really thought a lot about like Biden's use of nuclear warnings and whatnot. So you could have just like went with a one-sided argument, and instead he made the argument from both sides. Like he literally said, Biden at first talked, he never talked about nuclear weapons, and now it's bad that he's talking about nuclear weapons and not taking it seriously. Which one is it?
Getting it. This was something you don't mention.
Which he's simultaneously saying. He's simultaneously also saying that like he will use just the right amount. He will use just the right amount of nuclear conversations to I guess, avoid catastrophe.
I call it the N-word.
Oh!
Two N-words. You don't mention either one of them. The nuclear word you don't mention, because the power is so destructive. I met with professors at MIT, and I was preparing for a debate. I wouldn't say it was a long preparation, but I did want to talk about nuclear because I consider it to be the single greatest threat the world has, far greater than global warming, like not even a contest. And I had these people come down. They were very smart, very expert. And I said, so when we said...
They're very smart, very expert. I'm sorry, bro. At this point, I mean, I love him. He's so funny. He's so content. But, like, he's not even trying to, like, genuinely say words. They're very smart, very expert. Like, what the fuck does that mean? You're just saying words, man. What's the point of mentioning a racist slur? I don't get it. What do you mean? Like nuclear? Is that what you... Oh, he loves saying that because he knows it's clippable. What do you mean? That's the point. Like, what? Calling the N-word nuclear is like... He's doing it on purpose. Like, he's doing it so that people go, what the fuck? Why'd you say that?
Start talking about nuclear in a debate. How would you handle it? And they looked at me, one in particular, and said...
He called out both N-words, to be fair. Yeah, that's true. He's also woke. Like, I'm sorry, Sweaty. He is woke. He says you shouldn't say it. You shouldn't say either of them. But then he says nuclear all the time, so I don't know. Maybe he says the other N-word too. Well, yeah, he has regularly spoken out against saying the other N-word. Like, he says it all the time, actually, which is odd. Because I feel like back in the day, that was like a big point of contention for all the edgy boys. Which is weird. Like, he keeps bringing that up now. And I don't know. I mean, it's good, I guess. I'll take the dub where I can get it.
Sir, you can't talk about it. You cannot talk about it. I said, what does that mean? He said, it is so massive, it is so destructive that you cannot talk about it. I understood exactly what he meant. And we stayed away from it for the most part. But now Putin's mentioning it all the time. We don't mention it, but Putin's always mentioning it. You've heard him say it. We are a nuclear power. He said not so long ago, I said, that's the first time I've heard a major country. You know, you do hear it talked about, and I did a good job. I did a great job with North Korea. Kim Jong-un, you went with me on a trip. You insulted him, which didn't make my life too easy, but that's okay. But you were there, one of the few. And it was an amazing, it had to be one of the most incredible experiences for you.
For sure.
But it was amazing. We had thousands of reporters. They weren't treated particularly nicely either, by the way, but I got along great with him. And because of that, it started rough, remember, with, you know, Rocket Man, Little Rocket Man. And he said, I have a button on my desk, a red.
So cuck. Let's run that again.
Sure. But it was an amazing, it had to be one of the most incredible experiences for you.
For sure.
But it was amazing. We had thousands.
Yeah, you loved it, didn't you? Remember when I brought you with me? Remember? Yeah, you loved it, didn't you? You little bitch. We love it, don't we, folks? We love it. We love it.
Thousands of reporters. They weren't treated particularly nicely either, by the way, but I got along great with him. And because of that, it started rough, remember, with, you know, Rocket Man, Little Rocket Man. And he said, I have a button on my desk, a red button. I said, I have a red button on my desk, too. Mine's bigger and mine works. Yours doesn't. And this went on for a couple of months. And then all of a sudden, the logjam was broken, and he wanted to meet. And we did meet. And we get along great. To this day, we get along great. He won't talk to Biden. He won't even talk to these people. He won't even talk to them. He has no respect for him. He's a man. If he respects you, he'll respect you. He wouldn't talk to Obama. Obama tried to get meetings with him. He wouldn't meet with him. He met with me. I met with him twice. I would have had a deal worked out with him. He's got tremendous nuclear capability. It's the single biggest problem. Maybe this show's more important than even I thought it might be, because somebody's got to understand what has to happen, and they have to de-escalate.
So how would you do that now?
Well, now, so you have a problem. You got this crazy world is blowing up, and the United States has absolutely no say. And Macron, who's a friend of mine, is over with China, kissing his ass, okay, in China. I said, France is now going to China. You take a look at Saudi Arabia. Look at what happened. They're great people. They wanted to help us. He goes over and gets a fist pump. You know what a fist pump means? Don't shake my hand because your hand's dirty. That's what a fist pump is. They got it. They were so insulted. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Oh, I don't want to shake your hand. Let's go fist pump.